A Christmas Carol. Many years ago there lived a businessman named Ebenezer Scrooge. Everyone knew him because he was a very greedy and selfish man. Mr. Scrooge had made his fortune in banking. His partner Jacob Marley, who was as greedy as Scrooge, had died a few years before. Together they had done everything they could to get even more money. They lent money to people who needed it, but if they were late in paying it back, Marley and Scrooge took everything they had. People said that their hearts were as hard and cold as the gold coins that were in their pockets. Sometimes when Scrooge was sitting alone in his dark office, he thought of Marley, but when he did, he tried to forget about his grief and focus on his work. Scrooge had an assistant named Bob Cratchit. He was a friendly young man who worked very hard.
Cratchit,
Shouted Scrooge.
have you finished your work yet?
Cratchit was sitting behind his little desk in Scrooge's office. He was shivering because it was winter in London.
Almost, but I think I could work a bit faster if it was a little warmer in here, Mr. Scrooge.
He said. There was only a tiny cool heater in the office.
Coal doesn't grow on trees.
Scrooge snapped back.
I'm not paying to make you comfortable.
Cratchit looked up sadly and replied.
Yes, sir, of course, sir. I'm sure I can finish all the work by next week.
But Scrooge was not happy with his answer.
No, you have to come in tomorrow and get all the work done.
He shouted.
But Mr. Scrooge, tomorrow is Christmas. I need to be at home with my family.
Cratchit answered.
All right, tomorrow you can come in later, but I want you to work on New Year's Eve.
Scrooge said.
Thank you, Mr. Scrooge. Have yourself a Merry Christmas.
Cratchit said it and left the office.
Bah, humbug.
Scrooge mumbled. Scrooge went back to his desk. He was counting his money when suddenly he heard a strange noise. It sounded like a rattling chain. At first he thought the sound had come from the street, but then he heard it again, and it was definitely coming from upstairs. Slowly he stood up and walked upstairs. Just when he thought he was going mad, he heard the noise again. Scrooge's face turned white when he saw a very familiar figure hovering over the stairs. It was Jacob Marley. He looked very much like Scrooge remembered him, except that he was transparent and there were heavy chains around his arms and legs.
Ebenezer Scrooge, I have come to give you a warning. You must change your way of thinking, or you will end up like me. Tonight you will be visited by 3 ghosts who will try to open your heart. If they cannot teach you, you will be cursed to walk in chains forever.
The ghost howled. The ghost disappeared before Scrooge could ask a question. He looked around, but he couldn't see any sign of Marley. He decided he needed to get some sleep, so he went into his bedroom and crawled into bed.
Perhaps I was just seeing things.
Mr. Scrooge thought as he fell asleep.